We have Fred in California, our last caller for today. Pronouns are he, him. Is being forced to do court-ordered AA meetings, which are religious, legal? That's a great question. Did you have something to add to it, Fred? Because I like this one.
Well, I mean, it's like trying to find like a secular group, but they still have that whole finding a higher power step. And it's, I don't know. I can't get into it.
There are options. There's secular sobriety and others, but they're not available everywhere. And so this has come up before, and I'm glad you're calling in to ask it today. So Jeff, if the court orders you to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and Alcoholics Anonymous is a ostensibly religious organization, how is that legal?
So the court cannot order you to go to Alcoholics Anonymous or a 12-step program specifically to the exclusion of anything else. The court can absolutely order you to take part in some sort of substance abuse treatment program, and leave it to you to find one that meets the necessary criteria, whether it be Life Ring or now I'm blanking. Smart Recovery. I'm noticing Matt is frozen. I hope that I'm not frozen. Can you hear me, Fred? Okay. So yeah, what the court cannot do is order you to go to a 12-step program, because the courts have concluded that they have looked at 12-step programs and said this is absolutely religious. You can't require someone to take part in this. And particularly, I think it's like chapter 4 of the big book is just devoted to talking about why if you're an atheist or an agnostic, then you're essentially sabotaging your own recovery. It's really troubling if you go and read it. So I would suggest, if you or someone you know is in a position where the court has said you must attend Alcoholics Anonymous, we're not accepting any other alternative, by all means go to atheists.org/violation, or have them go to atheist.org/violation and let us know, because there may be steps we can take to fix it.
And then that kind of creates another issue, because it's part of a diversion program. So I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I just want to make the judge happy so I don't get in trouble anymore. So it's kind of like, on one hand, do I want to ruffle feathers and be like, I don't want to do this? Or do I just want to just do it and get it over with because he hooked me up for the sweet deal, and if I just keep my nose clean, I'm fine.
So
it's weird.
A few things. That gritting your teeth and bearing it is always an option. It is deeply frustrating to say that is an option, but for many people, you're in a position where you don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, because you don't want anybody deciding you weren't complying or anything like that. But there are steps that you can take to, or anyone else, and I'm really trying to stay clear of anything that could be construed as engaging in giving legal advice.
Yes, by the way, at no point is my guest giving you any sort of legal advice. She's just answering questions. Nothing here should ever be construed as actual legal advice, whether it comes from him or me.
Yes. I would, if you have someone who is representing you, I would talk to them about the issue, and they may have things that they can do. Also, let them know that we would be happy to talk over the issue with them and see if there are steps that we can take that maybe won't even involve your name at all, that might help to address the issue. Those are possibilities. And, like I said, we just helped somebody in a situation much like this. And we are, happy to do that. And then I'll leave it there.
Yeah, and that's kind of leads to the third weird thing is my attorney did suggest, I think, Smart Recovery. But since it's COVID time, I went on the website and all the Smart Recovery meetings are on hiatus, and they have been since 2020.
Right, or they're all virtual? Yeah.
There's a handful. There's like so few that are virtual, and it's just like it seems like pulling teeth trying to find one. And so that adds another challenge. Is like, okay, smart recovery, but it's like nearly impossible to get in. I don't know. So
Sure.
it's just kind of a weird situation that I find myself.
That raises another issue, and it's one that's that is not wholly resolved, and that is what happens when the government is requiring you to get some sort of help from a third party, and the only ones available to you in any real practical sense are religious. How to address that situation. And in my position, I would argue if the government is saying you have to get this service, we are not going to provide it to you, and the only providers that they are accepting are religious, well, then the government has an obligation to start providing a non-religious option, because it's the government that's requiring you to do this. That's my sense of it. But off the top of my head, I'm not sure that I could point to. Well, I know off the top of my head, I can't point to any precedent saying that. I imagine with some research I could find it. But that is my sense as I'm sitting here in front of a number of law books that might have those precedents in them.
Yeah. So I gotta decide how I'm gonna deal with that. But I think at this point, I'm gritting the teeth, but I don't know. It says
I understand that.
Go to the meetings, but it doesn't say that I have to do the 12 steps. I just sit there in the back of the room or in the Zoom room or whatever. So I'm not sure. And also, when I was listening, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, like, as I was listening on the line, you guys were talking about the death penalty, and I just wanted to pop in and say, like, I think I'm the only person that's against the death penalty, but for, like, malevolent reasons, because I think that an execution is just an easy out. I'd rather have him rot for the rest of his natural life, isn't it? And, like, I don't ever hear anybody say that, like, oh, yeah, kill him, or I'm against the death penalty because he might be innocent. And I'm like, I'm against the death penalty because if you kill him, it's an easy out. You know, he's not going to hell. He's just going to be done, and it's an easy out. I don't know.
We could set up some sort of queue so that instead of killing them, we all anyone interested can slap them at a preordained time or something.
No. We are not advocating for violence on this show, in chat or here. But thanks, Fred. I appreciate it.
They have to be neo-Nazis before we can slap them.
Oh, my God. It's never ending. Fred, I'm going to let you go. I wish you the best of luck, and whatever you decide, take care of yourself.
You're done. That's done. Thanks, Matt.
He got me. Wish you the best of luck in however you decide to deal with it. I can completely understand wanting to grit your teeth and bear it because, hey, you got to get on with your life. There is a single gnat, one gnat that has made it into this room, and it just, oh my gosh, it's so annoying.